Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. This is every day's video, so it's Saturday. On Saturdays, I do Cellar Saturday, where I drink something from my stash. I'm getting excited for next month. It's going to be Bourbon County release. So I'm like, you know what? I have a ton of Bourbon County. I should just drink one. And I decided to go with my favorite vintage. It was a couple years ago, or I forgot how many years ago, where I kind of like checked in on all my vintages. And 2015 was my favorite one, which is funny because you may recall it was the infection year. And based on date codes, am I speaking too soon? None of mine were, no, it seems fine, were infected. So I'm hoping that is obviously still the case. But you never know for sure. Well, I mean, with any beer. Of course, I guess they're pasteurizing now, right? So I guess that would help. But anyway. 2015, Bourbon County, develops for up to 5 years. This one is 13.7% ABV, 18 September 15. Well, whatever, I'll read their notes through the wax. Intense aromas of charred oak, vanilla, caramel, and smoke. Okay, I guess that wasn't too much I didn't already know. Nice head on it, given the ABV. Definitely has a nice head that has stuck around. Some legs, not a lot of lacing. Black with a little bit of brown. Definitely looks like a big stout. Let's get into the aroma. Big chocolate. It's like just chocolate, but it also is very reminiscent of like brownies that you added chocolate chips to. Some of that like booze is coming through like in a good way. You get a little bit of alcohol, but then you're also getting like the bourbon. So like it makes sense in your brain that you're smelling alcohol because it's like the very real bourbon note. Definitely some oak. Some caramel. I get the char. It's not smoky, but there is an element of that. So I think that's a very good tasting or aroma note. Like there's sweetness, but it's not overly sweet with the chocolate either, despite kind of being like this brownie with chocolate. A little bit of just like cacao powder as well, chocolate. Some vanillin. Man, it smells really good. Let's see about the taste. Cheers. That's held up really well. I mean, what a weird thing, right? Like, and some other people have weighed in and they also agree with me that they lucked out. 2015, they did not get infected ones. I did get infected barley wine and coffee. Those were all infected that I got. Not that I got many. And but again, lucked out with the regular that year. For that to be that year, but then for the vintage just be so good, the ones that weren't infected. And the fact that it's held up, I mean, 7 years, and it's still drinking amazing. So yeah, it's got that big, rich chocolate. This is going to make it sound sweeter than it is, but it is like Hershey's chocolate syrup. But you get a little bit of just the cacao powder as well. It's not so brownie in the taste, moment of maybe fudgy dense sweetness, but yeah, more some sort of mix between that Hershey's syrup and just straight cacao powder. Like somewhere between those two is really how that chocolate note's expressing itself for the most part. A little bit of that char, because this beer does not quite get roasty, certainly doesn't get smoky. You get some of the bourbon, you get that vanillin really nicely. Caramel, a little bit of toffee as well. That elevated adult dessert kind of a thing. The aftertaste, very much dry cacao powder, very chocolatey in a really nice way, not an overpowering way. Actually, at any point in the sip. It's probably why I like this vintage so much, is there's just so much chocolate. A little bit of that oak helping dry it out. Little red berry, The second I say cherry, people are gonna be like, oh, so it is infected. Not infected cherry. A little bit of like this red berry, like when the fruit kind of expresses itself, like a fruit note, I should say. A little bit of like a red berry cherry thing. I'm trying not to drink this too fast. I'm trying to nurse this for the rest of the evening, so I better wrap it up. Have you had this beer ever? Any vintage, any kind ever? Probably. Comment below. This vintage in particular, vintage you think is the best, a vintage that maybe you didn't think was that great fresh, but then it aged really well. Anything. Oh, you know what? To weigh in too on this. Sorry, as I was wrapping up. Is this better than it's ever been? This is as good as I remember it ever drinking. I can't go back in time and taste it at the different years. Just I can only go off of memory, obviously. But if this is a step down from other times I've checked in on this vintage, it's minimal because this beer is still amazing. So I would say it's probably as good as it ever was. And if it did take a decline, it's like as slight as possible. So yeah, I definitely like how it's been in the bottle for 7 years and what that's done. Nice rounded edges, no sharp notes. Anyway, if you have thoughts, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both of those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.